I got this board here. We've already started cutting this round piece out of this board. First thing I did with it is I took my hole saw. This is a hole saw here. It just cuts round pieces into wood. I took that and I drilled part way through on this side. I turned my board over and I drilled part of the way through on this side. I've done that for two reasons. One reason that I drilled part of the way through from both directions, if you take that hole saw and you cut all the way through the board in one pass, when it comes out the other side, it tends to tear up the edge of the wood. It kind of rips it up. If you cut a little bit from both sides, you have a better finish because it cuts it smooth. The other reason I cut it a little bit from both sides is because I want to mark where it's at so I can see where the center is. The hole saw has a drill bit in the middle of it here that goes all the way through the board, so that marks the center of my hole. The next step is I got to drill, in this case, a 1-inch hole. And I've already drilled part of the way through with my 1-inch hole with this Forstner bit in my drill press here. But what I got to do now, I got to turn it over and line it back up and drill the rest of the way through from this side. Same reason as with the hole saw, I got to drill from both sides, otherwise it'll kind of usually tear up. It tends to tear up one side if you drill all the way through. So you drill part of the way through, flip it over, line it back up, and drill the rest of the way through. Once we get our 1-inch hole, then I'll have to put the hole saw back in the drill press and drill the rest of the way through to cut out my round piece. And there's probably an easier way to do this, but I'm working with what I got. I've got certain equipment here that I got to deal with, and this is working. Sometimes that's just how it goes. So I got to put this in a drill press, and I got to line it up and get it lined up as good as I can. And I got to find my safety glasses. They're right here. Get my safety glasses on. Get ready to do this. I'll line this up and clamp it, get it lined up as straight as I can, and clamp it down here. And it takes a minute. It's kind of hard. This is not the easiest thing to do. If you want to try to get it lined up, centered as good as you can before you drill it, especially since I've already started drilling on the other side. Quite right. I think that's pretty close. Okay. Got it quiet there again. Close, but not quiet. I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to try it. I got my little foot pedal down here. Y'all can't see it, but I got a foot pedal to control my drill press a little bit better here. I'll try to stand where y'all can see. I'm going to take this and I'm going to bring my bit down, and I'm just barely going to touch the wood. And look at it. I'm just kind of eyeballing it, and it looks like it's centered pretty well. The reason I'm just barely touching it and looking at it, if it looks way off, I can stop and adjust it. and where I've just barely touched the board with the bit, I can sand that back out later if I have to adjust it some. But it looks like I got it pretty close, so we're going to go ahead and drill it. I wasn't quite as close as what I thought I was. I'm going to see if I can hold it here and clean it up just a little bit more. I got to get a better way of clamping this stuff down here. Still got a little bit of edge on this thing. I'm going to have to put another board on my boards. I got to get some better boards. I say my setup here is not the greatest, and it's making it difficult to get this stuff correct. I think I can clean that up here. I got just a little bit of edge left inside of it still, but it's right on the edge, so I should be able to take my pocket knife and trim that. That looks good. Let me see how my piece fits here. That's going to be a good tight fit, even though I was just a little bit off on one side drilling. I wasn't quite lined up right. I still got a pretty tight fit on it there. We'll glue that, and that'll work pretty good, I think. That'll work out all right. Next step is I got to cut it the rest of the way out of here. That'll be my next piece. Go ahead and pause that just a minute.